Joining us now is Secretary of State Rex Tillerson. Mr. Secretary, welcome. Great to have you here this morning.
Pleased to be here.
Let's dive right into the news here, both on Russia and on North Korea. First of all, we have President Trump with the tough new sanctions, his tweet this morning. Kim Jong Un already saying that he's considering the strongest actions. And I want to break this down for people at home. They've already tested a bomb more powerful than what we saw in World War II. They've tested several intercontinental ballistic missiles. Overnight now they're talking about detonation of an H-bomb in the Pacific. How are we going to stop North Korea from attaching a nuclear warhead, nuclear capability to one of these missiles? They have done everything they said they were going to do already.
Well, David, we are quite challenged, but our diplomatic efforts continue unabated. We have put in place the strongest economic sanctions ever to have been assembled against Kim Jong Un. So he is being tested with these sanctions. Voices from every corner of the world are calling on him to cease his program and come to the table and let's talk about the future of North Korea and North Korean people.
But you heard the president say this week in front of the UN that if he has to defend the U.S., he will have no choice but to totally destroy North Korea. He called him Rocket Man on a suicide mission. This morning he called him a madman. Is this kind of escalating rhetoric, does it work?
Well, the president obviously takes the responsibility of the security of the American people very seriously, and it is his first and foremost responsibility. But we're not in this alone. We have developed strong allies and strong alliances internationally, and we are engaging with North Korea's most important supporters, economic supporters, their friends, China and Russia, to have them also engage with Kim Jong Un on this issue.
If we see this detonation of an H-bomb in the Pacific, what will the U.S. do?
Well, we will continue our efforts in the diplomatic arena, but all of our military options, as the president has said, is on the table. And once we can assess the nature of this threat, the president will make a decision regarding the appropriate actions.
But for Americans watching this at home who want to know, will there be military action? If they drop an H-bomb in the Pacific, if they somehow attach nuclear capability to one of these missiles, will the U.S. have to act?
That will be the president's decision, David. There will be assembled, and there is assembled on a standing basis, a National Security Council that meets on each of these issues to advise the president. Ultimately, it will be his decision.
Mr. Secretary, I want to turn to what we just saw in Brian's reporting. Facebook now acknowledging that they sold thousands of ads to Russian agents during the election, ads that attacked Hillary Clinton, that praised Donald Trump. How much does this concern you?
Well, I think all of these social media providers are faced with many challenges. We see it not just in this arena of interfering with democratic processes. We see it in advancing the face of terrorism around the world, but they also have responsibilities, and I think they're going to have to think carefully about their responsibilities in this regard.
What's the responsibility, though, of Russia? How tough are you going to be on Vladimir Putin? We know that you know Mr. Putin from your time as CEO of Exxon. He said in recent days, we awarded Mr. Tillerson the Order of Friendship, but he seems to have fallen in the wrong company and to be steering in the other direction. What would you say to Vladimir Putin this morning?
Well, I've said to Vladimir Putin, I'm still the same man. I'm wearing a different hat now, and I represent the American people. The president's asked me to engage with Russia, to lead the engagement with Russia. Obviously, the relationship is very strained today, but it is important that the two greatest nuclear powers in the world find a way, find areas of common interest that we can work together. And we have found some areas of mutual interest. We've put in place a ceasefire in southern Syria that's been holding since early July, saving countless numbers of civilian lives. We're in the process and engaged in discussions around bringing peacekeepers into Ukraine to cease the violence in Ukraine. So I think we are trying to identify areas where we can work together, and we still have these very, very serious issues that you've touched on yet to be resolved.
One political headline to ask you about this morning. There's a lot of chatter out there, you don't need me to tell you this, about Nikki Haley being a possible next Secretary of State. She's even been asked about this. What do you say about those headlines?
I think we have a Secretary of State currently, and I think he's planning to hang around.
Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, great to have you here this morning.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.